Hi, Michael.
Hi, Jameson.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for your patience getting on this morning. How's everything like been for singing with you in the last week or so?
Um, it's been pretty good.
Yeah?
I've been working on keeping my throat open when I sing.
Right.
I've been trying to have a steady tone, not have it crackle too much.
Mm.
When I'm like going up and down between octaves, or not octaves, just like pitch. Um, yeah, just trying to keep a relaxed voice, relaxed muscles. Um, Trying to focus on doing as many correct techniques as possible between like maintaining the ping, connecting the vowels, yeah, and just keeping my voice, my throat open and relaxed.
And what exercises are you using right now when you're practicing again?
When I'm practicing, I can show you. Give me 1 second. And I'll just send this over to you in the chat. So it's basically just a video from Jacob's Vocal Academy. I like
Nice.
to use his um, exercises as sort of a benchmark for how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Um, and I usually like to record a little bit of it and then see how I feel about it.
Okay. And you tend to like do you feel like you're kind of gauging your day to day on this, or is it something you can sense in like a long term improvement as well so far with where you're at with when we've started lessons and all of that?
Um, I try to gauge it on a day to day. Long term, I can definitely see improvement. I can definitely see improvement. But I usually just go on a day to day basis.
Okay, cool.
All
Um,
right, let's start with an end.
so I'm curious if you, yeah, I love it. Let's start with it. Okay. So now, as you're singing today, I want to hear just basically reevaluate all this too for me. But is there something specifically like right now with your singing you're still working towards? Like, because we haven't grabbed a new performance piece yet, right? Or did we last
Yeah,
time? Right.
we
So we
haven't
still
grabbed
need
any.
a new performance piece.
Yes.
Okay. Um. Yeah. And then, is there anything right now you're looking at for that? Do you have something specific in mind that you want to go towards for your next step?
Mm, Anything specific in mind?
So I know you do karaokeing, every once in a
Yes.
while at least, right?
Yes. I'd say I want to work on using my mixed voice.
Okay.
Um, for the most part, I almost exclusively use chest voice, and then whenever I go higher, it just immediately jumps to my head voice.
Mm-hmm.
And there really isn't a big like usage of the mixed voice for me. I'm not entirely sure how it's. Yeah, it's just the
How to do it or why? How? What?
yeah,
How?
just like how to do it and
Yeah.
how to do it effectively.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also like why and when. Those things are
Yeah,
good to know in your body what it feels like, and then also like why in that song it might be appropriate here in that spot or something. So I'll just say in general with mixed voice, now that we're at the point where you know what you're looking for, mixed voice starts to become kind of like tightrope, like so you can balance and stand on one foot. Great. Now we're gonna put you on top of a rope, and let it be really like rocky and that's the grounds for this essentially. So it starts to become a lot more important that everything is really lined up. You can't really walk a tightrope if you have a broken ankle, right? It won't work.
yeah,
So you have to have everything lined up. If you're going to be holding, something weird in your hand, it's just not going to balance you right. So In the same way with mixed voice, you want to have that type of everything is lined up, the space, the ping, and the support. The breathy component is there's enough breath there behind it, so that you make sure you have like your voice is not going to be kind of cinching and closing in the throat. We want to keep things nice and released. Just the same as when you would be in your chest voice, right? The difference is we're allowing the resonance point to change, right? So when you're going from your chest voice, normally it's down here. It resonates a lot more in the jaw, in the mouth, maybe in the throat. And so we don't usually use a lot of nasal resonance for that when you're talking. I don't hear that in you, at least, right? And then that's where we've been working on that, extending and the opening and adding the nasal resonance to your chest voice. So that in that register, even, you know where that would be. Then the next step is to really be able to slide into the higher pitches in a whinier tone with the nasal resonance starting to take over. So we don't really feel the weight of the voice. Yeah. And that's what I would call it, right? The weight of the voice, higher or lower placement. Does that all sound familiar and make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So that's the principle. Now let's work on it. Okay, so let's go with, let's actually start with a W today. Ooh, just kind of sing it as if you're doing through a straw. And we're singing. Nice. Can you feel the resistance? Isn't that weird with the W?
Yeah.
Have you tried that before?
Usually, yeah, it feels weird without doing a straw. Using a straw.
It basically is the same as doing it with a straw, right? But you just now don't have the straw there.
Yeah.
And so you can loosen or whatever the W as you need. That's the nice thing with it on a W. But you want to allow that space to open up. Ooh, behind there. How about do a slide like that? Okay, and it will eventually go to the place where it is in your head voice at the top, but try not to let it go there until it's already really high.
Okay. Wait.
Yes, you kind of did it on the way up. When you came back down, you held it, though, in your head voice, and it was already low enough you could have been in your chest voice. So by the time you needed to switch out of you were at the bottom of your falsetto range, it felt there was an obvious switch there.
Yeah.
We have to create more overlap between these two voices, basically. So that's the zone that your mixed voice is going to live in. Your chest voice zone, your head voice zone, right? This is as far as range goes. Your bottom of your head voice is going to be like in your mid to upper chest voice range, right? So you could still sing a few notes here in your belt chest voice, in the same notes that you can sing your head voice, but those are low for your head voice. This is why it feels like when you're transitioning up into your head voice right here, maybe on one of these notes, it feels like all of a sudden you're singing a low note, right?
Yes.
That's why we do it in our head voice a lot of times. Oh, so much easier. And at the same time, it really is the same note, right? So we have to remember there's the difference in sensation and then the difference of actually like what is the pitch. So as you see these two things here, and there is an overlap, we want to try to go like this with your range. So we want to try to extend that chest voice range a little bit higher and bring your mixed tone up in here. And with your head voice, we want to have this lowest part of your head voice be as low as possible. Because that way this won't feel like it's a super low note for you anymore, and you'll know where to put that to match the resonance of your chest voice, whether you're in a heavier resonance point or a higher, lighter resonance point for your chest voice.
Okay.
So we want to create more overlap, and when in the middle, because otherwise if you only have like one note there that you can do in the middle that's the same note, and that you're going to be in really hard time switching between these two voices and having a really smooth, connection between those two things, that's totally possible. It's at the top it's becoming my head voice, and there's that point where it's like, this is strong again. But when does that happen, right? I'm in my head voice all right? I could do it probably still a little lighter. you know, but that's definitely my head voice.
Yes.
So I'm smoothly getting there. Ah, ah. Where did it become a chest voice? Ah. Where is
It
it?
is very
Right?
smooth.
It is. It's in there though, and that's because you can create that type of an overlap, and I have room to switch it. On like five, six, seven, eight notes in there, so I'm not concerned. Like that's the one note I have to make sure. This is why we create that overlap, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you're doing this, we want to think about bringing up your chest voice, bringing down your head voice, so that when you transition like that, whoop, you're gonna feel like you're going down into your head voice, but it won't be like you're going to like the lowest part of your head voice. It's almost just gonna be like a mid and a mid. That's what we want. So we want this to bring up your chest voice. So it's a little more mid chest and then mid head voice, but the notes are the same.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do that again. We're going. Ooh. Don't switch to head voice yet, right? This isn't high enough to do that yet. Go ahead.
Wait,
So you
hold on.
switched. You switched to head voice.
Hold on.
Just do ooh.
Ooh.
Great. See, there you go. Ooh.
Ooh.
There it is. Ooh. Go ahead.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's four notes. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yep. Okay. So at the top, do you feel it's just ever so slightly putting a little more, like a little more pressure in your nose?
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
At that time, it was a little bit more compressed down here in your throat.
Yeah.
Ooh. We went. Ooh. 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 You want to feel that? Yeah. 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 Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, that's super good. Okay. And that's loud as you were doing it, right? Like, what if you were to do that a little quieter? Ooh. Yeah, still works, right? It may not even feel like you're not even like singing it now, right? That's good if that's the case.
Yeah.
Ooh, that means you're doing less effort.
Okay.
Do it again. How about here? Ooh.
Ooh.
Feel how easy that is? Ooh. Follow that same path.
Ooh.
You can allow that air to come up in here and also still to release a little bit in your mouth. That's okay. Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. That stayed still in your chest voice / mix, right? Mix is still part of your chest voice, technically. Ooh.
Ooh.
Really nice. Yes. Okay. And now what if we made it ooh, not woo anymore? Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah? Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. Great. This is good. Let's try it on E. Ooh.
Ooh.
E.
E. E.
So remember, it's going to go up into the nose. And this E isn't the same shape as your normal speaking E. It's the taller E. It's the one we were just doing with that ooh. Ooh, ooh, ee. It's back here. So try saying ooh, ee, ooh.
Wee wee wee.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, ee. Uh-huh. E.
E.
Yeah, you feel it? It went up in there. That's perfect. Do it again.
E.
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 Yeah, it's a different sensation. That's all it really is. I know it's kind of uncomfortable at first because you're like, oh no. That's exactly where it's supposed to go. We just don't usually put our voice there because it's
Yeah.
kind of whiny. It is. And that's the nature of mixed voice. You're going towards a whining versus going towards shouting.
Hmm.
So we want to think smaller, lighter, even if anything, like a little bit more gentle with it, right? Versus the chest voice feel is like very forceful. It's kind of like, "Brr," you know? It's not that mixed voice isn't going to sound still like strong in some form there, but it's a different way of approaching it, especially in allowing in your body for all that to happen. It can be smaller and still have impact. It doesn't have to all be done with the air. In a way, I mean, it is done with the air, but it's not by like resonance through the air. It's not the air conducting the sound waves. It's the bones conducting the sound waves now. So you really are leaning into the built-in amp that you have, your ping, and increasing what is working up here for you. So then it starts to feel just a little bit lighter. That's it. Less
Okay.
pressure here. Yeah. And you can kind of do it small, and it's still loud actually, because it's using the bones of your face to make it louder instead of the air. Okay, or just the air, right? It's a balance of these things. Okay, now we're here. Ooh.
Ooh.
E.
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 Yeah. Ooh. You just started in your head voice. Ooh. Remember the feeling with the W? Go back to that one.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. That's the other feeling.
Wait, hold on.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's down here. Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Perfect. Yes. Also, just don't be scared of it because it might sound high in my voice or in someone else's voice. First off, you're hearing it like without what you're hearing of your own body, right? When you do it inside your body, you're hearing all those lower tones. And so it sounds like you're singing something lower when you're singing the same exact pitches as what I'm singing, right? Or anybody's singing. And also when you hear it on a recording or something, right? You're hearing all the processing that the mic had on it, which includes EQing, where they're cutting the low range of it, so you're not going to hear that weight. You're hearing compression, you're hearing maybe sometimes volume optimization. You know, you're hearing a lot of things adjusting on the vocal just so that you can cut it through the mix, and that means usually you're not hearing the full tone of the voice actually in the recording, and you're thinking, oh, this is what I'm supposed to sound like, or that's what a mixed voice sounds like, and it does, but slightly modified.
Yeah.
You are going to expect, oh my gosh, that's so high. I can't sing it that high. It's actually not. It's in your body. You got to go back to the feeling, not what it sounds like. What does it feel like?
What does it feel like?
Yeah. So when you just did it, remember that feeling. Ooh, ee, right there.
Ooh. E.
Good.
E.
Good, good. Ee, it's up in here. Ee.
E.
Perfect. That is it. Yep, do it again. Remember the feeling of that.
E.
Exactly. Okay, so now go back and forth with those. Ooh, ee.
Ooh. E.
Great. Ooh, ee.
Ooh. E.
Okay, so try to keep that moving just like you're doing it, right? With the slide, it's great. I like how it's placing in there. Don't slow down the air. You know, keep everything moving at the same like do 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 you were doing before. Right? What happens sometimes when we get into that mixed range? we go, oh, it's supposed to be smaller. Oh, I'll just cinch it down a little bit. Or in the throat, we start to pinch it just a little bit so we can get this direct nasal resonance that we need. It doesn't need to happen down here. Remember, it's happening up on top by adding that feeling behind your soft palate. It's the wasabi feeling.
Wasabi feeling.
That's what I call it,
Okay.
because it's that position inside your head, right, where everything opens up.
Opens up.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
right? Imagine that type of, it's a stretching kind of feeling in there. It's opening.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's if you do dragon breath or something in yoga. It's that same position in the back that you feel that. Right? Now say, hee.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Hee.
Hmm.
Hee.
Hmm.
Exactly that path. That is the one. Ooh.
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 Ee.
Ee.
Switch to head voice that time. Ooh. Ee. Your head voice.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh. Hold it for a second.
Ooh.
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 Ee.
Ee.
Remember, we're feeling that, right? We're really concentrating on that sensation of it opening there. Ee.
Ee.
Okay, and the top note you switched fully, but it was a great smooth transition to that actually. So you used your mixed voice, you went through it, and you got to your head voice very smoothly. That's one thing you can do with mixed voice, obviously, right? In this case right here, let's try to hold into your mixed voice, still stay there, and not go into head voice all the way, just so you can practice that stretch, if you will, or the position of this. It's a specific lean to your vocal cords. We are holding them in this position rather than tilting fully and allowing that to switch into head voice. You're not going to let them do that yet. You're going to wait as long as possible.
Okay.
Do a slide. Take your time. That's switched right there. It might be a little louder than you're expecting. It's not quiet, right? We need to make sure the pressure still goes through. It's still on. Okay. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah,
Okay. Wah.
wah.
Totally. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, it's sort of what you would imagine probably your voice would be like if you were a girl. A little bit, right? Sometimes if we do like making a fun type of voice, right? Oh, whatever, ha ha, ha, like, I don't know, I'm a girl. Like, we put it there. That's because, I mean, in general, I think that's just where we would place our voices, actually, if we allow, most men don't allow their voice to be that expansive, right? And have the most dynamic range as possible. So, but that's what we're looking for when we're coming to singing. So this is why it's feeling kind of like unusual, because you don't usually do that in your normal day-to-day life, probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's where this is gonna just be a new sensation, right? It's a new placement and a new feeling in your body. So you got to practice the path of that a little bit and letting it go there. It's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. The other way, oh, hi, this is also the same thing as that too, in some ways. But it's kind of like half you. It's not really you. The other one, this is like, no, this is really you. You're really being kind of whiny about it. You're really being kind of, what do you call it? It's sassy.
Sassy.
It's a little bit sassy because you got that stank on it, right? When you get up in that, what? What are you talking about? You know, it's like, hey, it's got a little more of that, you know, sass.
Yeah,
It just
sass.
does. It's brighter, right? Hey!
Hey!
Absolutely. Yeah, you feel it. That's where it goes. And that was literally, that was an A, which I know you probably are like, wait, huh? Because you're usually topping out around an E flat with your
Yeah.
chest voice, right? Maybe D even have, but you've gotten the E a couple times with your chest voice. If you're really belting it big, this was an A. That's a fourth higher than that, where you just spoke through right there. Hey, on an open vowel. He. Try it on an E.
Ee. Ee.
Now your head voice. That's in head voice. He. We want he.
Ee.
Kind of. I think you're just putting that in a head voice placement where you use the brighter resonance, but you're still in your head voice versus a falsetto placement. It's the same register, but when we think about those two different things, sometimes like somebody will say head voice, it's a little more classical. It's a little more full-bodied in that range, right? Versus, which is just breathier mostly. You know, it's a little breathier. It's a little less efficient, but that's kind of where sometimes we let the voice go when we hear it, like stylistically, when someone flips into head voice from like a pop standard.
Okay.
We don't usually go to the one unless you're singing something maybe rock or classical or I don't know, like if it's like I'm thinking of Queen specifically.
Yeah.
You know? We probably wouldn't put it there most of the time. Yeah, there's probably some other moments of that. There are, but yeah. So you're looking for the one. It's gonna feel like that actually, though. It's just in your chest voice, though, because it has the same resonance as that.
Okay. Ee.
Hey! Go.
Hey!
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 Hey there!
Hey there!
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Hey! Hey,
sass.
how's it going?
Gotta put your sass on it, right? Wait!
Way!
No way!
No way!
Uh-huh. Hey!
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 Make sure you don't start in your head voice. Hey! We went, hey!
Hey!
Yeah.
Hey!
Okay, kinda. I think you get to the point at the top where it's pretty much switching over your head voice, and then you're holding it there and staying there instead of coming back down the same mirrored path that you just went up. So you're coming down, and at the end of it, hey! It's staying there in your head voice. So you want to come back down to your chest voice again, right? Not come out of it completely. Hey! Back to it, right?
Hey!
Almost. That was closer. That was a lot closer. And you do have to get comfortable and familiar with this feeling of that crack. It will be in there. It's going to happen every once in a while just because you're going over the top of that bump, right? And you're kind of paving this road out. So to be able to get that smooth, you're going to need to run into that bump a lot of times.
Okay,
Just
love.
get
Okay,
comfortable with that.
repetition.
Yes. But we're trying not to have the bump as well, right? So you're really listening
Yeah.
for smoothness there. And that means what is it? What is that little crack, that bump that's happening in there? What is that? Why is that happening? What is it?
Is it like this switch between from your head voice and from your chest voice to your head voice?
Yes, it is.
It's your
And
yeah.
why does it sound so obvious when it happens like that?
I believe it's using different muscles and
Okay.
they're not sort of harmonized with each other.
Okay, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, there's more to it than that too, though, because it's not just that the muscles aren't in the right spot. It is partly that it's also that the pitch that you're singing in the chest voice and the head voice are slightly different when you transition it. So there's actually a gap in the notes sometimes.
Ah,
And in that case, what you just did, there was almost a whole step gap. So we're missing a couple
Missing
of the
that
frequencies
chunk.
in between. Yeah, so this is where again you're bringing up the chest voice, you're bringing down the head voice, where at least where we expect them to be in sensation, so that we have that relationship. Like on the note that you need to switch on, you can almost be kind of like with chest voice, you come in and you kind of overlap the note. If you're trying to come back down into it, you're going, ah, you have to feel like turn it up, go, 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 right on top of it. And when you're coming the opposite direction, you're going into your head voice, you're going to kind of scoop from underneath it into that head voice, right? Up, going down underneath it to get it. Because you
Okay.
have to anticipate the note that you're coming in on is actually almost a little bit under what you're ready for, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of
That makes
weird.
a lot more sense. Okay, okay, okay. I get it now. I get it now.
Yeah, it's like it again. It's this, but what your body is feeling, if we grabbed it like that, would be this, right? So you're in a low range over here, right? On both of these, you're in a high range over here. So you have to go. You're in my high note, my high range down to get to your head voice. No, you have to
Okay.
think I'm going down. Or
Going
opposite of
down.
that, if you're coming back to your head voice, you're coming from your head voice, or sorry, at best back to your chest voice, you're coming from your head voice, you're going down, you're in a low part, a bottom note of your head voice, and now you're going to come up into your chest voice. So you're anticipating, this is higher, right? I'm going up into that, even though the note's the same.
Okay.
Right? Because that same pitch, it feels super easy, chill, and like low in that head voice. And then I gotta go turn it up. Oh my gosh, it's like switching gears. That's it. That's what this is.
Okay.
And you have
Switching
to have a
gears.
clutch to kind of vroom into the next gear and catch that gear right at the right rev, RPM or whatever that it needs to switch. And that's the airflow. That's the sheer like kind of force, I guess, of that with the air. So you're gonna feel that into chest voice again, and versus it's a little slower in your head voice. And
Okay.
also, just sorry, a lot of information here, but it's if you're slowing down that air too much, too early, you are going to go too early to your head voice.
Hmm.
If you're pulling back too much, it's a lot of times at the top of your chest voice range, people going, oh, I don't know, it's so high for me. They start to doubt themselves. They stop, they back off a little bit. They pull off the accelerator. And instead of running right at the platform 9 and 13, whatever it is, 9 and 3/4, at the wall, you have to plow through it, right? At that top speed. And if you don't, you kind of slow down and then you hit the wall.
Then you hit the wall.
And we don't want to hit the wall.
Okay. Okay. It's kind of like when you're. I don't know if you've ever been like longboarding,
Yeah?
but
Oh,
if you're
I've tried it. I'm not good at it.
sometimes like the sidewalks will have those little bumps on the sidewalk, but if you go slow enough, it'll just completely stop and you'll fall. So you
Right.
got to go fast enough to go over it.
Exactly. And it's like keeping your eyes up if you're biking. You don't want to be looking down right in front of you're like, oh.
You know,
You have to look way in advance. So oh yeah, that's right. Same thing. Staying focused on all the way through it. That's how your air has to flow. At the top parts of the range, you keep going, go, 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 go. Because that's how we're stretching. We're keeping the airspeed on enough.
okay.
And if you don't, you back off there, it's going to flip right away. And you're probably going to miss a couple notes. And then you're going to be in your head voice right then, right?
Okay. Okay.
Hopefully that's a lot of good information for you to practice with now as you're moving between these things. I mean, first off, today you found an A speaking it. So I'm curious if you can practice getting that in there and listen back to what we have on a recording here and moving
Okay.
through those scales and try to get to this point where you're going even that's a G at the top. Then we can add one more note. Right? That will be hitting that note. You can move it up into that point on any of those, of course.
Okay.
And slide it first, then do the notes. Because
Slide
you
it
go to go
first.
back to the sensation, not too mental on it, not too, oh, da, da, da. No. Whereas the note, the activation in the back of my nose happening, and I feel that opening as I'm going up. E. Doesn't matter what the note is. E. Do I feel it opening?
Okay.
Better to get that down, less accurate on the notes, and nail that feeling and sensation, so you know right where that is. Than worrying about what notes am I singing at all, even. But if you can, and you want to do that, if you're starting to feel comfortable with it, challenge yourself to try to hit that same A, see what you can do, and probably go beyond it. By the way, you can sing higher than that note. You might surprise yourself how high you can sing. Once you
Okay.
feel this path, it really opens up. There's a lot. I mean, I'm serious. I thought maybe my max was an A or B flat if I was lucky. And then I was singing some music. Like one time I didn't even know what the notes were. We didn't have sheet music for it. I was just learning it and hearing it and singing along, and kind of found a place that worked in my range. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I was looking at it and I was like, I went to the piano. What the hell? That is a C. Like, and I was like, yeah, yeah. And I sing it there. And I was like, how am I doing this? I thought that would have been maybe a G, but no, it was much higher. And I was like, what the? Where are my options? And it's just such a surprise sometimes when you're like in there. And I was like, how high can I go? And I just started to kind of release it and find it. It's amazing. So you've got room in there to play, and
Okay.
I can hear it already in your voice. You just have to know and trust that path.
Trust
All
the
right.
path.
Yes, I'll let you go. Thank you so much. I got to bounce to the next thing, but
Okay.
great to see ya. And
All right.
let me know when we're doing our next one. Is it in a couple weeks then?
Um. Uh. Yes. Tentative. I'll let you know right after this.
Okay, perfect. Text me. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Bye,
All right.
Michael.
Bye.